This is Craig Rosen, who just came in on our Zoom. Can you hear me, Craig?
I can. Can you hear me?
He can, yes.
Yeah,
Welcome to We
testing
Will
one,
Rank
two.
You.
Yeah,
Hey,
Hello.
thank you.
we haven't
Hello,
we
I
haven't
just
had
Craig.
a Zoom crash.
uh,
We haven't had a
I
Zoom crash in quite a while.
I just want to say I want to introduce myself by saying
Please do.
I am Superman and I can do anything.
Craig is a Valley neighbor of mine. Are you in Northridge?
I am in Porter Ranch officially.
Porter
It sounds
Ranch.
it sounds better than Northridge.
Nice. And I honestly, we've never met. We're one of those Facebook friends where somehow we got our paths crossed in all of our music friends. I know that he did a web page writing about number one albums, and that I think is how I somehow ended up being in your Facebook sphere. He actually wrote a book in 1996. He wrote a lot for Billboard called the Billboard Book of Number One Albums. But more importantly to what we're talking about tonight, he wrote a book called Inside Out, the stories behind every song about the band we're talking about tonight, REM. So I thought he would be a good person to see what he likes. For starters, when do you remember first hearing the band REM, Craig?
I first heard them. There were two things that happened about the same time. One was there was a flexi disc of Wolf's Lower that came with a copy of Trouser Press magazine.
Hmm.
And around the same time, I went to Cal State Northridge. I haven't traveled
Ah,
far.
all right.
I'm only
Fellow
allowed
Matador.
to, yeah, I'm only allowed to like stay around like a 20-mile radius in the valley. So, but yeah, I went there and I wrote for the Sundial, and I got a
Ah,
copy
nice.
of Chronic Town. I don't think I was officially on staff yet, but I was scamming their records as a contributor. And that's how
Nice.
I actually got into the whole journalism racket was, to get free records. As you
Smart
could,
move.
as you could see, my office is lined with CDs. I don't know if you could see
Yeah.
that in the
Yeah,
background.
Yeah, we
yeah.
can. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know at least one other person here can spy your "Pleased to Meet Me," or I'm sorry, "Don't Tell a Soul" poster back there.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Nice,
Yeah, you can
good
see I've
taste.
got oh, it's behind the mic stand. The box set that just came out
Oh,
a couple
the
Nice.
years
the
ago.
replacements.
Yeah,
Sorry, Ma.
Dead
Yeah.
Man's
Uh,
Pop. No, Dead Man's Pop.
Dead
Okay,
Man's
yeah,
Pop,
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
tape transfers done by my roommate who is standing above this ceiling right here.
Oh,
Oh,
neat.
cool.
Got a plug in for him. So, what do you remember about when Life's Rich Pageant first came out? Do you remember how'd you feel about it, and how are your feelings about it after all these years?
Well, I do remember I was trying to think back when it first came out, or even before it came back. At that time, I was a DJ at KCSN.
Hmm.
Then I know now it's 88.5, a incredible station. I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys tune in, but
I do.
back then it was classical. I think it was pretty much like classical during the day, maybe jazz or something.
Hmm.
And then they had something called the rock shift at night, where they let the Misfits in and to play, rock and roll. And I was
Right.
one of those guys that did overnights. I think it was like Saturday to Sunday morning in the middle of the night. And a copy of Life's Rich Pageant came into the station
Wow.
or I heard it came in, and that was before I got a copy somehow. So I think I borrowed their copy and
Yeah, I'm sure you
Borrowed.
did.
no, I didn't keep it. I do
Good
have
man.
I do have a few records with a KCSN written on it and black Sharpie, but I think when the rock shift ended, I think they let us take a few. But
Nice.
I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it and I recorded it on a cassette. But the thing with that was weird about that is at the time, I think my turntable was kind of fast. So so
Ah.
every cassette I made was like a little more amped up. And and when I
I
got
mean, it
a
was the 80s.
yeah, when I got a better turntable, everything sounded kind of slow.
It's funny
Amazing.
you say that because this album, I wasn't going to mention this, but I had a scratch in this record, and it was at the beginning of Cuyahoga, the bass intro. it would read or skip a little bit, and then the intro to what if we give it away. That those two intros in my head, every time I hear it, I'm like, that skip, you know.
Totally.
I think we all have records like that where we'll forever hear that skip in our copy.
Yep.
So flash forward to how many years and you decided to write a book about one of the most indecipherable singers of all time and the stories behind his songs.
Yeah, that just sort of like fell in my lap. A friend of mine, Dave DiMartino, who I worked for or with, but for, he was my boss at Billboard, and then he made the mistake of hiring me twice. I worked for him again at Launch, which became Yahoo Music, and he started one of those story behind the songs books on the Doors. And for some reason, I can't remember, I think he just started a job at Entertainment Weekly at the time. So he couldn't do it. He kind of passed it off, or he collaborated with this other guy on the Doors book. And when the REM book came up, he was in contact with those publishers, and he knew I was a big fan, so he suggested me. So yeah, I jumped on it. It was a really tight deadline and super stressful, but enjoyable. Writing about your favorite band, and I had interviewed them for a few times, and I, sort of knew, I wasn't like pals with them, but I had interviewed them. I always sort of tried to keep a distance and tried not to be, too buddy, tried to maintain journalistic integrity.
What? Never heard of
it. As much as I could, but they put me on. I knew their manager Burtis Downs a little bit, and I told him I was doing the book, and he arranged for a phoner with Peter Buck to sort of fill in the gaps on the first edition. And then before the second edition, I got to sit down with Michael Stipe at the Chateau Marmont. And he in his room there, and interviewed him, and at one point he told me to back off a little. I don't know, maybe I was too intense for him.
Wow.
Or maybe I was nervous. He did order me a glass of wine or allow me to order a glass of wine from room service, which was nice. Helped calm the nerves,
Nice.
How much time did you get with him?
I probably at least an hour, because it was at that point, that second edition goes up through Around the Sun, and the first one ended with New Adventures in Hi-Fi.
Okay.
So yeah, I was talking to Stipe, I guess, about Up, Reveal, and Around the Sun, if I'm right. That's off the top of my head. I think that's right.
Nice.
On those three. I wanted to, I still would do it if I could, a final version with all the albums, but the publisher is in the UK, and the people, that's the original publisher. It was published also in the States, but what they do, they basically farm it out. This company called Thunder's Mouth, I think they're still in business, and they farm it out to different publishers in different countries. In the US, it was a company called Thunder's Mouth Press, and I think in Australia it was on Random House, which sounds really impressive. If only that was worldwide.
All right, I have one more question, given that you undertook that project.
Sure.
What single song needed the most clarification of what the hell is this song about in their catalog?
Wow.
Not just that last bit with Stipe, but of everything you worked on, were you like,
that's a tough one, because I didn't, it's called Stories Behind the Songs, so it's not like definitive.
Okay, it's not just what they're about.
Like, yeah, it's like, maybe the recording process or how they came up with a riff or whatever, it's not, and I started the book when the internet, I mean, the internet was around, but it was like, dial-up modem and stuff. I remember, I think I did that book basically in my garage in my old house in North Hills, which was converted to an office, but it was like with a dial-up modem, and there wasn't as much. I mean, since then, there's like a million more interviews, and there's things. Some guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he sort of did what I did, but he did it as a web project, and Stipe was really helpful to him. So yeah, there's just a ton of more information and liner notes on the 25th anniversary editions and everything. Like, I wish I could go back and write it again in a way, but
Well,
and
if
I
you
mean,
do want to pick, go ahead.
Yeah, even with the second edition, I didn't go back. I just added to it. That was sort of the deal.
Right. I think, and so I saw a link on your page that it's available on Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's out of print, but you can still find it. You can find it some places.
Right. It's called Inside Out.
Yeah, it's called REM Inside Out: The Stories Behind Every Song. I believe that's the correct title. And there was also a German edition too. And I don't know German, so I can't tell you the title. It's whatever that is in German. But I do have a copy of that. Yeah. It's not called Octon Baby. But
well, we could probably pick your brain about songs all night, but we were up to number 5, and funny enough, right as you came in, we were just talking about Superman. So your timing was impeccable. So before we let you go, you got to tell us what your favorite song on Life's Rich Pageant is.
The Spidey sense is working. Talking about Superman, it's a different favorite song. I was thinking about that today as I was walking my dog, and I looked at iTunes. I would go with top 4.
Okay.
You only asked me about one.
Let's hear it.
But I would take. Here, let me get this out of the way now so I can see you guys. It's just looking. Here, let me just move it up.
You're like us. You can only pick one. Yeah. Okay, here's my top 4.
Yeah. well, it's easy to do. Top 4.
Okay, let's have it.
The running order.
Okay, we're ready.
The running order of the album. Number 1 is Begin to Begin. Number 2 is These Days. Number 3 is Fall on Me. And number 4 is Cuyahoga.
Okay.
Wow. So that means your absolute favorite is Begin to Begin.
Yeah, I would. Nice. It's so hard to pick. But
really
I think they're all incredible. They're all incredible for different reasons. But that 1-2 punch there, or even the 1 2 3 4 is. I mean, you can almost put that up against any album.
Yeah.
It's incredibly strong.
You got here and we were just revealing our group, the Fab 4 average. Number 4 track on our ranking is These Days. And 2 of us have it at number 1, but 2 of us have it at a 9 and an 8. So we're a split group.
So you know who the real fans are now, Craig.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we were right in the middle of fighting about it right when you came on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for breaking up our fight.
Thank you for
let you go, but thanks for coming back.
That just made it more intense, by the way.
Right.
Exactly.
Those
Thanks,
words.
Craig.
You're welcome. Those words, what is it? We are young despite the years. We are hope despite the times.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the best.
It's evergreen. It's
Yeah.
So it's the guy that's turning 59 tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Nice.
Craig.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
And
All right, I'll see you on the next dog walk somewhere.
Okay.
Cheers,
all right, guys.
Craig.
Well, good.
Thanks for joining.
Oh, sure. Good luck with this. And let me know when it airs. I'd love to
Promise.
Absolutely.
Thing.
Thanks, Craig.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Are all you guys in the tribute band as well, or just Adam?
No.
Just Adam.
Just Adam.
I'm in the cover bands. Yeah, the old man.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about Stones and Roses, I think, if I remember right recently.
And is that true? Is that your former vocalist or your vocalist joined Smash Mouth?
Yeah, my bass player and Geezer is actually for better or worse is now the lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they're okay. They get a bad rap.
Hey,
It's not like they're
Walking on the Sun is a great pop song. I will
Yeah,
say that
yeah, and they did that other song, Pushing Up. Wait. What was the other one that the band The Colorfield did too?
Pushing
I
Up the
can't get
Daisies?
it. I
you
can't
Oh,
get
can't
enough
get
of you,
enough of you,
baby.
baby.
Yeah,
you said the magic words. You've got at least two really big Colorfield fans here. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the first time I ever heard that song.
Yeah, they're
Funny
awesome.
enough. Yeah,
Okay.
totally great. I hope we get to do that album someday. That'd be great.
All right,
All right, Greg.
Get me back when you do that. I love
Okay,
it.
for sure.
All right. Okay. Don't want to hijack the whole thing. All right.
Thanks
Thanks,
so
Greg.
much.
guys.
Happy
All right,
birthday.
bye.
Okay.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.